I'm so happy today that I have you here to have this interview. I would say probably by so far that you're one of the most special guests I have in my interview. But I think for the audience that you'll figure out later why. But I think we start from the typical question I usually ask my guests. So what brought you to China in the first place?
I arrived in China 19 years ago with my family.
19 years ago?
Yes, 2005. And at that time, I found a job because I didn't want to stay in France. And for personal reasons, we decided, because our kid was 4 years old, say, okay, it's time to move somewhere, and we want to move in a place where we can bring something to our child. So we decided to come to China. And actually, 19 years ago, we settled in Shanxi province.
Shanxi province?
Yes, in Wuhan. Wow. So 60 kilometers from Xi'an, a very small village. We were the only foreigners. We were not speaking Chinese at all. And we arrived, the three of us. I spent there more than 1 year, almost 1 year and a half, let's say. Countryside, very special. I was working for a French company as a financial director for drinking water plant for that city. And I was working for the municipality in order to provide clean water, drinking water in the city.
So since you were at such a special place, you mentioned about your family were the only foreigners there. So I guess have you encountered any culture shock or something very interesting culture experience at the time?
Sure. So there were several aspects. First, because I was working with the local municipality, so I have a lot of business lunch, and I have to try the baijiu. So I was drinking baijiu like 4, 5, 6 times per week. So that was something very, very, very special.
Do you like baijiu now? I mean, after 19 years, or do you, let's say, you can taste the different kinds of baijiu? Because baijiu is also a culture.
Yeah,
like
different
provinces have a different kinds of baijiu.
Yes, absolutely. And because of my job, after when I moved to Beijing, I was in charge of the North China region for that company. So I traveled a lot. So I tried many kind of baijiu because it was always connected with the business.
Yes. According to my personal experience, I mean, some expats, some foreigners do have more severe culture shock, and some others, for example, people like you, you don't. I mean, you find new things, you discover new lifestyle, people. But you can also even transfer as kind of more positive, like culture experience. Why do you think there are such differences between the two?
We choose to come to China.
Yeah.
We knew at that time that we will have to face some cultural differences, gap.
Yeah.
Okay. And we knew from the very beginning it won't be that easy, but say that's the best way to emerge in China culture. So language, food, people. Oh, and there's no jam, no foreigner, no Western restaurant, you have to follow the local rules, and you have to follow the local lives.
I think the reason you take a good way, as you said, because you and your family member both, all of you are mentally prepared for this, and you commit to this.
Absolutely.
It's like, I think some other people, they come here, they don't have a specific idea what they want to achieve. It doesn't, probably to them, it doesn't make a lot of sense why they need to adapt to it. If they never see there's a long goal there, they would say, I like it, and then I like it. If I don't like it, I just leave. Okay, now this part is probably now I will review to our audience like why I say you're so far the most special guest in my this interview, because I interview a lot of people like the artists and the creatives, like they literally really work in the creative field. But last time we met, you told me you're wearing 3 hats. You say yourself a designer and you like to design objects with leather, and also you identify yourself as a photographer, and you also had the exhibition before. You also are the senior executive from the corporation. So I told you before, I mean, a lot of people think actually the creative mind and then like more rational, logical minds are very different. So people, especially people who are very good at and the creative mind, the creatives, and then their kind of strength is not coexist with somebody who are logically and rationally and very strong. So when people tell you this, when people challenge you, how can you be, strong at both sides of your brains? How would you say?
I think they both can work together.
Sure.
So doing finance or that kind of management work helped me to be well structured and have products that are well rounded.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very, very meticulous, so I pay a lot of attention about the details.
Mm-hmm.
So my professional brain has an impact on the way I manage my leather work or photography or whatever.
Yeah.
And it works as well on the other side. Creativity. Facing a lot of issues, because each time I have a new project, I try to push my boundaries, do something more difficult, more refined. So I will always encounter new problem, and I need to think very quickly to imagine what is the best solution to solve the problem. So that creativity gives more agility, flexibility, versatility. That is very useful at work as well.
Yeah.
Because you can see the problem in various angles.
Right.
So you are not only focusing on one single path, but you have to consider other ways around.
Yeah.
So this is very interesting, and it gives me a wider range of ways and paths.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's like, actually creativity is a kind of mindset you can apply to everywhere. It doesn't matter what you do. You have a problem, then sometimes you have to exercise your creative thinking so to figure out a solution.
I will supplement a bit, because we talk about two aspects, but in fact there's a third one. I do a lot of sports, like running, marathon or ultra trail, long distance. What is important is, because at that time when you run, you don't need to think about the fact that you're running for 2, 3, 4 hours or more. So you have plenty of time at the moment to solve some problem, because you're in the mindset where you free your mind and you can say, okay, how I can manage that problem, because I need to face some problem for the closing or the budget preparation or whatever. So you have plenty of time to think about the same. If I want to solve a problem for my project in leather or photography, this is the time I use to say, okay, now I have 2 hours, I will solve that problem while I'm running. Any kind of sport I do, I spend that time for my fitness, but also to focus on my KPI, on my goal, whether it's professional or personal. So it's also very, and when you have three pods like in photography, you're always balanced.
Right.
You will never fall down, because this tripod is super stable. So it's very important. And for me, those three aspects, professional, art, and sport, with family, of course, I don't mention, but for this very personal, let's say, it's very important.
Okay, so next question I want to ask about something which is also, I think, it's a kind of common topic in the management fields. Like, I would heard a lot, like the different expat community or a senior executive like to talk about cross-cultural management. Usually it refers to the foreign manager have to manage the local employees, and many of them, they have encountered different kind of troubles or difficulties. They just say Chinese people are so different. But I would like to know, since you've been here and as a senior executive for many years, and you also manage the Chinese employees, have you personally encountered any difficulties, or do you see those difficulties are purely caused by the culture differences?
Well, I have faced those kind of difficulties at the very beginning, but I'm in China for 19 years. I arrived, I was 30, I was quite junior. And for the financial function, for example, I was cost controller, internal control. Well, I did everything, accounting, I checked the chart of account, I participated in digital transformation. Well, step by step, I managed many roles. So when I arrived with a certain level of experience to the manager position, I managed by example. Because when I discussed with people, I was not just put as a manager coming from the sky. No, I climbed the ladder step by step. So I have knowledge about finance, accounting, etc. So when I discuss with my teams, I can always help them to solve problems. Because of the mindset. There's no stupid question. You need to ask the question and we will find solution together. That's very important. So don't keep everything for yourself, otherwise you go to the wall. So speak out as early as possible. And then, because I have experience, but also the other colleagues have experience, we can solve together and find a good way rather than finding after 3 or 4 months that we were in a deadlock situation. And so for me it's important to listen to people first, then manage to do the conclusion, validate with all the team to make sure that they are aligned, and then we go for it. So it's really that way
I'm
of
so
managing.
happy that you mentioned about, I think this all, it sounds to many, I think people who, if they have studied about management courses, it sounds like the kind of management course you would teach everywhere around the world. But I think there's also to say that maybe sometimes people are easily be attracted to this kind of the culture problem would create a management problem. But probably the real reason, the culture thing is like on the surface. But actually the real reason why some of the senior executives become successful to managing the Chinese team versus with others are not so successful is probably not because they're coming from different cultural backgrounds, because probably what kind of human being they are. It's more individual thing. Because I think in any case, it doesn't matter where people coming from. If the one person speaks to another person with a condescending way, everybody can feel about it. The person doesn't need to understand your language, but they can feel from your non-verbal communication cue, like how your voice, your tone, and then everything put together. This is just, I think, human being like intuitively can feel. So if, let's say, a manager can treat his or her team member with more like equally, and then probably the team member, as it's Chinese, that also can feel that my manager wants to support me and he or she's trying to teach me and help me to grow. I think this is the same everywhere. Okay, I think the last question I want to ask you is, as you also probably notice now, many Chinese companies now going abroad, and they send a lot of Chinese managers, senior executives also go abroad. So they also need to work with a lot of the local employees. So what's your suggestion to them?
Okay. Well, it will always go to the same philosophy. For me, it doesn't really matter whether you're a foreign guy in China or a foreign guy in Europe or whatever. We have, as manager, to manage people. So we need to work with people to assign tasks and to make sure that you know the people. So you need to discuss, organize some meeting, and when you're on board, you need to get to know your team. Then, for me, something very important, as we will grow some team, and we will have more projects, etc. It's easy to hire people from outside, for example. But when you have a key position, and rather than hiring people from outside, say, okay, we will promote people from outside. It means that you create an atmosphere where everybody has the feeling that they can climb the ladder together with you. So you have a goal to achieve, KPI, target, whatever, financial results. But you need the team, and if you show to the team that when there's a gap here, one of the team members has the opportunity to grow, and then you will create another space so another team member can grow, etc., etc. So everybody can climb the ladder together. So at the end of the day, you create an atmosphere where people will say, if I want to climb the ladder, I don't have to go to another company and quit my job. I have experience. I want to work hard, to be committed, to show that I align, I follow, and then the leader will take the chance to promote me. So, and I will have a chance to climb the ladder inside the organization and not going outside of the company. Then you create a team spirit, a good atmosphere, and people will believe that you are a great leader. So at the end of the day, that's what we need to impose. So That's, I think, a common sense, something that is not that difficult to achieve, but you need to know the people, you need to make sure that they want to grow, you need to identify the skills, the added value.
And you also need to communicate it to the team member, make sure they know that you care about them, that you really trust them.
Yeah, but it's easy, you show the first time you promote somebody rather than hiring, they will notice that, okay, that guy, give us the chance.
Yeah.
I also believe that, for my personal case, if you're well balanced, if you have those hobbies, if you are able to clear your mind and reset every day, when you go to the office, you are super happy.
Right.
You're fresh, and then you're happy to see your colleagues. Then you say, okay.
Happy working environment, right?
Yeah, so to build a good working environment, you need to work on yourself first.
Right.
And if you're well balanced, then your attitude will change. You will be more polite, more inclined to talk with people, to listen to people. That is very important. And then to manage in an efficient way. And you won't have jam on the way, you are clear, you know which people you can count on. And you promote the one that will help you to achieve the goal, and you make everybody, you rise the level of all the team, climbing the ladder together. So it's very important. But it comes, you need to, as you mentioned, walk the talk. So you need to set the example. If you are well balanced, if you are happy, and people can see it, you give the example that it's possible. You can achieve a lot of things. And then you are here to help them, to support them, to accompany them on that journey. And so everybody, team and company, will benefit from this. And we will all reach the goal together.